been working on this particular piece of it for over a year, and today is a very special day for us. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us on this, what we think is a momentous occasion, and we're glad to have you here. We want to recognize our special guests that we have with us here today. Those acknowledgments are always so important to us. Of course, Sheriff Jim Winder. We also have we have our Mayor Pro Tem, Council Member Sheldon Stewart. We also have Council Member Trent Staggs, and you'll be hearing from each of those individuals in just a minute. We also have Riverton City Council Member Trish and Paul Waymond. Aside from that, I'm not going to embarrass myself, but I'm going to say thank you very much, and we're glad you're here. Of course, Steve's wearing two hats again. Steve, thanks for being here. So, and Carrie, she's been instrumental. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. We, this is nice. This is really nice. Would you guys indulge me for just a minute? Because I'm thinking, let's see, I need a selfie. Can I, is that okay? Can I do that?
Do it.
All right, ready? All right, everybody say hi. That's not bad. All right, now if my technology works well for me. That's not too bad. It's not? Oh, Chief Sandstrom's calling in, and he just ruined my show here. So what we want to do here is show off just a little bit of the technology that we've put together here. This room down here is what started out as a squad room. It built into a training room, and we have now, if you notice here up at the sidewalk, well, that's the wrong selfie. So I am.
That's the technology.
I am running from that one as fast as I can. So what we want to do, though, is acknowledge how we got here. We certainly have been working on this for a long time, and we're so grateful to be here. There's a couple of key role players here. Of course, Mayor Applegarth, we'd like to excuse him. Him and City Manager Lance Blackwood had an urgent meeting they had to go to, and I understand exactly what their needs are. So, and we also want to excuse Council Member Jim Bradley as well. Very significant role players in bringing this about. The mayor saw the vision to maybe add us, as we were trying our best to find a new home, to add us to the city campus here. And Lance Blackwood put together some budget numbers on how we could fold into their bond process. And we're very grateful to the city council and city government for accepting that idea and allowing us to move that direction. Once we got that done, Carrie was a huge part of making this all work together with the taxing district, Salt Lake Valley Law Enforcement Service District. And when all is said and done, Sheriff, this team that you've got, this staff, has done a heck of a job to put this building together for you. And without your leadership and guidance, none of us would have gotten through the first door. So thank you very much. We appreciate that. So, having said that, one thing we wanted to do was make sure that for those of you who are not very familiar with the process, we wanted to, over here on the side, if I kill my selfie, thanks, we wanted to remind you of how we're organized. This is really important, especially to the citizens. We are not a third party to our citizen or municipal partners. Our municipal partners are member owners of the Unified Police Department and of the Salt Lake Valley Law Enforcement Service District. So the message that we want to get out there is that we are one and the same. And I'm hoping that maybe, Sheriff, you can elaborate just a little bit more on that when we get a little bit further. Having said that, we have done a lot in the community here. We're very, very proud of the work that we've been able to do with Riverton. Some of our numbers will show that on the crime trend. We wanted to show that for 24 months now, although population is going up and crime is going up, our numbers here in the community are actually going down, and that's pretty wonderful. Next up, this is what we wanted to show was the rendering of the building as we got started off to the side here. And then, of course, the completed project. I think we've done pretty good. Our gratitude to Think Architects and the wonderful job that they did in the process. Of course, we added to that one notion and threw some blue shirts out there to make it look even prettier. So having said that, what we want to do now is introduce the program. We would like to hear from our dear Sheriff Jim Winder first. He'll be followed by Sheldon Stewart, who's Mayor Pro Tem today. And following Sheldon, we'd like to hear from Trent Staggs, who is a member of the Unified Police Department Board and of the Salt Lake Valley Law Enforcement Service District Board, and obviously one of our Riverton City Council members. He's also going to double as Jim Bradley for today, and we're grateful for that. And we will proceed to that point. Sheriff.
I don't want to cross the police line, so and I will not be pulling up anything on my technology because I don't want to show anything that I'd be embarrassed about either. On our, I had a little sweat on my brow there as he was fumbling through. I thought, please make it be appropriate, and of course it would be with you, Rod. We know that there would be nothing on there that we would have to worry about. But today is a very auspicious and wonderful day, and as I look out over the room, I am emotive and honored and thrilled to be here. Today is a historic date. You know, you hear a lot about history being made, and sometimes I think the word is a little overplayed. In this instance, it is not. Really, today we are making history, and I want to elaborate on that just a little bit and tell you from whence we came. Our organization, which has gone through a number of iterations, a lot of changes over the course of its nearly 160-year history, has really reflected the community in which we serve. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Years ago, and I'm now talking again 100 years or more, the way we policed was a little unique. Communities would form and we would send officers out to that community. And I'll give you an example. Highland Boy was a community that some of you may not be overly familiar with, but it was a community that came to be out in the Ochre Mountains. It was a mining community. And at its height, Highland Boy had almost 11,000 residents. It was a very vibrant mining community in the Ochre Mountains, and so officers went out there and began to police that community. And of course, as we went out to police that community, the sense we got was that that community, like so many that we had policed before, would come and maybe go. We knew it was a mining town. We knew it was tenuous. And so the way we functioned is we would put officers in a storefront. If you look at the old photographs of Highland Boy or of Bingham or Lark or many of the communities, there would be a police presence, but it would be a temporary one. We would be occupying something that was not ours, nor was it the community's. It might have been a store prior to our entry into it, or it might have been a bar, might have been a brothel. We don't know what it was. We would occupy that facility. And then, of course, when things would change, we would move out. And away would go the police presence. And we continued to operate in that function. When I started, and many of my colleagues that are in this room today, when we started in law enforcement, I'll tell you, one of my very first assignments was in Magna. And as we policed Magna, we were in a storefront out on Magna Main Street. It was not our own building. It was one that we occupied, and we knew we were temporary tenants. We lived out of a double-wide trailer as we policed the communities on the east side of Salt Lake County. The Holiday Precinct, and I see heads shaking, was a double-wide trailer that we had inherited from someone else, and we occupied. Prior to the construction of this facility, we occupied a storefront in a strip mall, a stone's throw from here. We joked about it because we doubled in there with a girls' dance studio. A little uncomfortable to share a restroom with that occupant, I'll just tell you right now. It was not a good place to have a police station necessarily. The point is we were temporary. But now today, history is being made. What we have recognized is the Unified Police Department of Greater Salt Lake, in cooperation with its partners, are here to stay. The city of Riverton will not be like Highland Boy and be gone one day. The city of Riverton will be here long after all of us are gone. In fact, it will blossom, it will grow. I have seen the plans, and great things are on the horizon. This is a community that will be here for hundreds of years. And I say that completely convinced that that is accurate. So to that end, we have begun to put down roots. It is time that the citizens of this community understand that their police are part of their community and will be here as long as they are. So we broke ground on the very first physical structure that we have ever had in our 162-year history that is our own. That's amazing, you guys. In addition to doing that, we did that, and I want my friends in the press to understand that, we did that at no cost to the citizens of our community. What we did is we took the revenues that we were paying for rent in our temporary location and we converted it into the payment on our first home. I want that word to resonate for just a minute, our first home. Because now I want to switch the thoughts from the historical to the personal. Most of us in this room, myself included, have been in a situation where we were in our relationship, our marriage, and we decided to take that giant step and purchase our first home. I remember my wife and I when we built our first home. We had occupied other homes, but we had made the decision to build what was going to be our home. I remember the process we went through. We searched for the right lot. Then we met with the builder. We got a relationship with the builder. And then we chose colors, and we chose the molding, and we chose the shrubberies, and we went through all those decisions. And during that entire process, we began to get roots. We began to have a feeling that this was something more than just a place for us to lay our heads. It was a place for us to raise our children. It was a place for us to get to know our neighbors. It was a place for us to live, not just occupy. So too, ladies and gentlemen, has this house been built. It's been built with love. It's been built with a great deal of attention to detail. And now we will not occupy it as simple tenants. But I and the dear chief and the other officers who are going to occupy this space are coming here to live in their home. I see many of the officers that will occupy this. Day in and day out, they will come in here and memories will be built. Some sad, God forbid some tragic, but many will be joyous and memories that they will have for a lifetime. And at the end of the day, they will be sharing them here in their home, a home that we share with our community, the community of Riverton. This is our house. We have built it together, we will occupy it together, and we will serve here with dignity and respect, and we will treat it with exactly what it is. A place where we are not temporary occupiers, but individuals who have come and will live here forever. We will get to know our community because our community will get to know us because they will know where we live. I couldn't be prouder of the team that has put together this endeavor. Much great work and hard work and creativity. City Council has been phenomenal in working with us. I can't tell you the tremendous amount of deference and frankly, the gift that they have given us here relative to the space that we occupy, and also the work to structure the finances. The Slovisa board, including Carrie Hackworth, my dear friend and one of the smartest people I know, worked diligently to structure the finances so that it is cost neutral. The rest of the Slovisa board that was willing to have this be the template, the starting for where we're going to go. And then, of course, all of you, my dear friends and colleagues, who have been patient and worked with us over this period of time to get this up and running. The final thing I want to say, and I'm sorry if my comments have gone on too long, but I do want to just talk now about the future. We've talked about the past, we've talked about where we are today. Let's talk about the future. The Unified Police Department of Greater Salt Lake is currently undergoing a process to build 5 of these kinds of structures. We are underway and looking at locations in the other communities that we service, Magna, Kearns, Mill Creek, and of course we'll be looking at regional structures to occupy our ever-growing facility. We are within a year, in my opinion, of breaking ground on other facilities and those regional facilities. Within 3 to 5 years, ladies and gentlemen, we will have not one home, we will have 5 or 6. And we will be occupying an agency that will be servicing this community for the rest of all of our lives and many generations to come. This is history, ladies and gentlemen, and I appreciate you being a part of it, and I am honored to have been a small part of it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I look forward to serving you with dignity and graciousness over the course of the next years of my term and beyond. Thank you very much.
So again, I just want to reiterate Mayor Applegarth's condolences and not being here in person. I know that he really wanted to be here because this is a big day for Riverton. And he's doing other things to hopefully have another big day for Riverton. So I want to kind of take my perspective in these thoughts because this is the community I grew up in. I'm looking out there and I see faces of former employers and friends and people that I interacted with in my youth. When I was a young boy in kindergarten, I actually moved here to Riverton, and my parents had moved me over here, and I remember starting elementary school right here in this building next to us. And my first grade class is probably right about where the victims' advocates are seated, because that portion of the building was ripped down. But as I look through that history and growing up in this community, I reflect upon great experiences interacting with UPD or the sheriff, and the experiences that I had with them. One of my memories that I was going to share was my first interaction with a UPD officer in a scenario where I was actually assisting the officer. And it was actually at Peterson's Food Town, and I see Monty and them there. And I was actually coming in, it was the day after Thanksgiving, and it was my day off. And there's a Blaine Butterfield, who is actually a person that I represent now as a city council member, that was a manager at that time. And he was running out of the building. He said, "Sheldon, follow me." And I remember following him, and he was chasing a guy that had done some shoplifting. And anyhow, I remember the experience of interacting with that officer, the first time I ever had to give a deposition and a statement of what occurred because of some of the things that happened. And just that experience and the infrastructure and the things that have happened with the sheriff were things that kind of set things in my mind and doing that. And then the sheriff has had a lot of presence here in our city. I remember my brother, who is also a member of the Salt Lake County Sheriff, actually did his training here at this facility. There was a time where this building was utilized for training, and so just having the sheriff here was an important piece. But the reason why I share those stories a little bit is because a lot of people will focus on the financial structure of how we did this and what we did to do this building, which are all great things. But that wasn't the important thing. And as the sheriff had mentioned, the important thing was this was part of community, and us being a part of the community and working together. Because I've always viewed this police force as my police force, and I don't mean my as a councilman, but my police force as a member of this city. These are the people that I interact with daily. These are the people that are making sure that I'm safe and my children are safe. And it is that interaction, and it's not always, those experiences that are tragic that we encounter. They're experiences at the parade and at the fair, watching the motor brigade come down the street and seeing that, and seeing this building come in, and also the location of it where it sits. If you think about our parade route, right, this building sits right on that parade route, and this is part of that community. And so as we as a council at the time, and there was a lot going on during that time, it was those decisions for community. I've always said I'll never compromise community safety as a council member. Whatever the dollar amount is, whatever the need is, to ensure that our level and our safety is kept where it needs to be and the best for our community, that's what I'm going to be willing to do. And I'll do anything to make sure that happens. And this building was part of that. And that was part of my thoughts as I started thinking about this, and as we started going through the phases of that. And as we had discussions with the mayor and the other council members and members of the community, we felt it was important to have this building and to be able to have the community come in here. This room, as I went through my first tour, this room is designed to work with the members of our community. This room is not a room for officers to come down and have a great day, ping pong tables, billiard tables. No, this is a time for them to interact with our community. And our community is invited into this building to participate in activities. And that was what was important to me, is to see more of that interaction and to see more of that growth. And when I say community, it's not just Riverton. When I grew up out here, we're talking about Harriman, we're talking about Bluffdale, we're talking about all Lark and all those different areas. If you grew up in this area here, we were all Bingham miners. We all went to Bingham, and there was even portions of South Jordan that we'd include in that. We'll still include South Jordan. But it was always that, and I've always viewed that, and that's the things that I've felt interacting with the members of our community, and that's what this building is it's a place, it's a gathering place. It's a place for us to get together as a community. It's a place for us to share in one another's burdens. It's a place for us to share in one another's joys, and that's what I just want to leave that final piece with you, is that this is a community place. This is a gathering place for citizens of Riverton as well as the officers we interact with. And many of our officers, like the sheriff mentioned, they live in our community, they reside in our community, and they work in our community. And so I would encourage you all to utilize this as a place to come. If you ever need anything, I'm sure the sheriff would say that. Come to this place for help, for assistance. And I appreciate the outreaching that has been done. I also work with other associations within our community, and just the stuff that this has done for us and the abilities that it's bringing to us as a community. I just want to leave it with you and say that. Thank you.
Wow. Well, what an honor to be able to stand up here and say a few words. I'm humbled, I'm grateful. I feel, in some respects, I kind of feel like I'm photobombing a little bit the selfie, because I've been a councilman now for just 1 year. I was appointed to the Unified Police District Board and also the Salt Lake Valley Law Enforcement Service Area, or the Service District, as a trustee just in August. And Mayor Applegarth made that appointment, and I'm definitely grateful that he did. I've got a strong appreciation and respect for the law enforcement community. I want to thank all of the police officers. Thank you so much for everything that you do. One of the reasons I made the decision to actually run for city council a little over a year ago had to do with a situation very close to me that had to deal with law enforcement. And I definitely appreciated the way in which that was handled, the professionalism. We have a phenomenal chief, Chief Norton, thank you. And also Sheriff, all the members of your force, thank you very much. I just wanted to say a few words about the really that have to relate or correlate to the emblem of Riverton City. And Councilmember Stewart had actually mentioned this. We talked about it at our last council meeting, but you know, on that emblem you see peace, progress, and tradition. And I believe that this building embodies those tenets. In terms of peace, you see the peace that is created through the officers, through their work, through their dedication, through the community efforts. You know, one of the things I had an opportunity just recently to go through the Unified Police District's Citizens Academy. And it's a 10-week commitment, meets weekly for 10 weeks. And through that experience, I found that it was just that level of appreciation that I have for the law enforcement community and the police officers and what they do just increased exponentially. You know, unfortunately, in this time, we have several examples of, not here in this community, thank goodness, but elsewhere, where perhaps the law enforcement community is not recognized, is not appreciated to the level that they should be. And that is unfortunate. I think anybody who has the opportunity to attend that academy, that has the opportunity to interact with one of these fine men and women that wear the uniform, would definitely congratulate them and thank them for helping to instill that peace. In terms of progress, the sheriff and Councilmember Stewart have already mentioned the significance of this being a first of its kind, that Riverton has really, along with UPD and with Salt Lake Valley Law Enforcement, has really blazed a trail here. And it's been a great partnership. The vision, the foresight that they've had, all the work that has been done in setting up this building as really a template in going forward, as Sheriff Winder indicated, the future 5 to 6 other facilities like this in the next 3+ years. So, in terms of progress, you know, it really is unique. It really is one of its kind. We've not yet mentioned, but this does not only just move monies that were previously used for leasing a building, but there's actually a tax savings that's associated with this. And we've looked through that at the Salt Lake Valley Law Enforcement Service area. In our meetings, we've identified definitely here over the next few years that tax savings that's in our budget. And you can see that that's real. So not only do we have all the benefits that come from this facility and not having to lease a facility, but there's actual tax savings that are made here to the residents of our community. Lastly, tradition. We've already made some comments about the permanence, the significance of the permanence of this building. And I know that that's true. We've got, up to this point, I think if you were to ask several residents of Riverton where the police office is, you'd be hard pressed to have many that could answer correctly where it used to be. But here, with this located right here on campus, with city offices, very easily recognized. It's a permanent fixture. It's creating a sense of tradition. It's been built with a lot of input and thought from members of our community. We've had the Riverton High School Arts Council that came to one of our council meetings, and they were able to participate in the creation of the Victims Advocate Room. And so we're starting to build that tradition here with this new building. Again, just want to thank all of those that have been involved. Wanted to express wanted to be able to just say that Councilmember Jim Bradley, I know, has had a huge role in this. He was unable to be here today, and expressed his sympathies for that, and not being able to be here. And I know that he has been a big part of this. Again, this has taken shape well before my time. I've come in just in the last year, and I'm grateful to have been a part of that. A lot of great people that are part of this in the community and also in the law enforcement community. Thank you very much, and look forward to having this facility serve our community very well from this time forth, long time into the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're moving rapidly towards the fun part. Just a quick note, if I may, for those of you that are here today, we have a special memento of this occasion. We in law enforcement love challenge coins, but you don't get to get challenge coins for nothing. So as my officers will attest to, in order to get one of these coins, hello, Chief Sandstrom. Good to have you with us. In order to get one of these coins, you have to earn it. You have to do something extra. You have to go above and beyond. Now, just by virtue of being here today, we're going to gift you with one of these, and we're going to ask you to pay it forward. Do something good for the community. Do something good for your law enforcement, and enjoy the moment and remember it. But I wanted to share with you a little bit of the reasoning behind this particular coin. Now, you'll notice I put the copy of our patches, same patch that we all wear on our blue uniforms, on the wall. And many of us participated in the design of that patch under Sheriff Windard. And the patch has some symbolism that we are very proud of. You'll notice that the mountain is on the patch, and although that is sometimes overused, we felt it an honor to use that on our logo because we truly are the law enforcement community under that particular mountain, valley-wide, and so we're very proud of that. You'll notice there's an urban setting and a rural setting because we in this department serve both urban and rural at the same time, and it's pretty wonderful. And you'll notice that there's the hometown feel. And then these bars across, as Sheriff Winter educated me early on in that process, should represent progress, that we're always moving to be progressive and to be up to date in everything that we do in serving our community. So how befitting the patch to fit the occasion that we have here today. And so we've actually designed that into the coin. So what you may notice is we have, if you can now recognize the patch on the side of the coin to the left there, it has all that symbolism in it, and we have placed our building as the first big step in that progress that the sheriff had inspired us to on the front of that side of the coin. On the reverse side is our law enforcement and our law enforcement community and all of our current partners to the Unified Police Department. And then here's the fun part. Here's where you take a little symbolism and you take the law enforcement on the right and the community on the left, you give it a little spin, and they're one and the same. All right, isn't that cool? So come on up before we finish, and we've got some here, and Rosie, if you wouldn't mind helping me, and make sure everybody gets one of those. Now, we also started another tradition today by the raising of the flag. We had all the members that were here sign the flag. We raised it up on the pole for the first time. We'll bring that down and put it in a shadow box, and that's kind of fun. I also want to invite the sheriff and Shane up for one more little tradition. Sheriff, Shane, if you come up here and join me. I get to present to them the keys to the kingdom, or at least my kingdom. So, Sheriff, there's your real estate. You're moving in now, Shane, and if you'll take one for the undersheriff.
I promise I'll bring it back clean.
Can I stay here with me, if you two wouldn't mind? Now, having said that, we're about ready to get to business. So, yeah, that's serious stuff. So, here's what I'd like to do, Sheriff, if I could bequeath these to you temporarily. Absolutely. We're going to invite some guests up. Terry, Trish.
Trish is here. If you'd like to come up, and we'll make sure we leave some room for Roy. What you don't know is that Trish's husband, Roy Tingy, was a very, very strong supporter of our police precinct the 7 years that I've been here. And unfortunately, he passed on. And I'm so proud when Trish took the initiative to step up and be a council member in his place. So Trish, come on up here, join us up.
Paul Wayman, council member, if you'll join us. And of course, our speaking guests, Sheldon and Trent. Carrie, we'd like you up here. Scott Jurgis, you do not get to say no. Come on forward.
Mike Jensen.
Mike Jensen.
Michael.
Come on, Michael.
Who else would you like up here? You can be in the middle here with the scissors.
And then who else do we have on the Slovisa board? It's representing
Brent, would you like to join us?
well, representing the other member of the Slovisa board. Mike, that's a nice coat you got there.
Yeah. Come on, it's pretty
All right, if we missed anybody that we would really like to have up here?
If we have, we hope we haven't offended you.
Okay. Trent and Sheldon, if you'll join with the sheriff and Shane, come on over here. The rest of it's going to be filler in the background. And
Let's not put anybody's eyes out. You ready? On the count of three, hopefully we'll actually cut it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Get up before the firefighters do, I'll tell you that.
Hey,
So I can see them over there. You boys just stay back. Too late, John.
if you'll give me this opportunity, I want to thank Rod. He's been giving a lot of other people thanks, and that's well deserved. But Rod, you've done a great job. So if everybody here would join with me in giving Rod a round of applause.